Greetings, everybody. How are you been doing? I hope that this finds you very well. And this is Srinivasa with yet another It's Different show. It's different news, views, and music show. Basically, it's different. You can say it's Diff Academy. We just wanted to name ourselves as part of the leadership series, and we have been very fortunate to have you all join us at this moment, whichever part of the world you are. And we have been very fascinated to conduct these kind of interactive sessions, which is very educational, and sharing our learnings on some of the wonderful topics. On we started with remote working. We started with the etiquette, as well as we talked about how to help each other during the COVID times in terms of a career advice. And we also had a few great, wonderful Harvard professors on our show. So it's very fortunate. It has been good for the last 2 months, I would say. So thank you very much for joining, and it's really a pleasure to host. We also have started a podcasting, which is another way you can communicate with us and listen to some of the great speakers speak. And if you have any suggestions for topics, upcoming topics, and if you have great speakers within yourself or outside, please definitely get in touch with us at itsdiff@gmail.com. So I just wanted to get this away, and with a great pleasure and honor, I welcome Mr. Prabhu to our show. Welcome, Prabhu, and thank you for joining. The topic for today is going to be, as you all know, is about social currency. The question is, Prabhu, I have to thank him for bringing this great topic to our forum here as a panel discussion. So most of us have been doing this about the brands that we like, and the affiliation, and also the association with it as a consumer, right? And so here we are going to talk about the brand loyalty, the value creation from a company perspective, as well as the social interaction that it generates, and what does it mean. So we are going to unpack this for you. So just a little bit of Prabhu for those of you who have joined recently. I just wanted to share. He's a wonderful, experienced person with a great 30 years experience in business development, channel marketing, product management, recruiting, and mentoring in software and consulting industry. And he has been an advisor and a mentor to startups and a coach. He's of course, one of my very best friends and big proponent of positive thinking and good karma activities. And he has been very instrumental in me conducting this show. He was kind of a great pusher, as I always say. And thank you, Prabhu. And Prabhu is one good friend to have with you at all times, and for some of the great topics and the discussions, and of course, general things in the cultural angle as well. So thank you. We welcome you, Prabhu, to our show.
Yeah, thank you, Sri.
Yeah. And just a brief about me. And as you know, I've been running this show for not like, it's 15 years. 2005 started. And now we are, thank you. And we are on in through Stanford University. And now during this, stopped briefly from 2016 after 11 years and 550 shows. So now this is a great opportunity now to just share our learnings, basically, the experience that we gain, the knowledge that we gain from great masters and working with great professors. So here is an opportunity. We thought it will be nice to revive this and also be useful. It's just very simple. We are not experts. We just learn, but whatever we do, we learn, we do it well. That's all it is. I personally say that I don't know much things, but whatever I know, I try to do that well, learn it well, and with the great minds. And that's my recent association with the Harvard Business School, which is very instrumental because of the great professors and the great teaching faculties and whatnot. Anyway, so without much ado, I just wanted to get into the topic. So Prabhu, really, first question to you. So we welcomed our listeners right now, and so what motivated you for this topic?
Yeah, we have been exposed to various brands, various companies. So um, always a couple of days back, me and my daughter were discussing. She said, like, Appa, I don't want to buy clothing from regular stores where we buy, but instead, I want to select and pick brands which are ethical in their business practices, and like where they show a lot of commitment to the manufacturers or their suppliers or whoever, wherever they, whichever part of the world they source it from, and they show a lot of concern and commitment back to the society and commitment back to the environment where their factories are located. And we had a very hot discussion on that, and I was debating with her, how do you qualify a company to be ethical? Where do you go look for? Why do you want to follow the brand? And we had a very meaningful discussion on that, and I was amazed because she runs a nonprofit by herself with my son and her other directors. They are, one of the things is they talk about is replenishing waterbed, and which is concerned with the environment. So I was amazed the awareness she has got for herself at her age, and how she related that even best practices in her consumption as a consumer. And I thought I extended this story and thought, why can't we do a little more research? We have always bought certain brands, we have always supported certain brands, and what makes us compelled to buy those brands, and we sometimes have bragging rights to
Hmm.
share about those brands to our friends and our network or where we work and all those things. So what is the behavior which drives this to this kind of thing? So that gave rise to this topic on social currency and how it relates to our corporate world, and how small things what we do daily relate to this, and how can we be a significant part of this ecosystem. Yeah, that's where.
Well, very, very interesting. I think very good timing, because I remember the great mind, Steve Jobs, and when they were discussing about the product and stuff like that, I believe he happened to say, "I know what the customer wants." Right? It is
Yeah.
more like right. That means it's like before you devise any product and then ship it to the market, it has to look good on me first. See that kind of the value, the value creation and the quality of the product, the usability of the product is what something which was in his mind. So the thing is like you know, because that means he's so confident in himself that he wanted to put a product out and that will become a it's history, right? Everybody associate themselves with Apple, uh, right? And so the question here is, inadvertently we are doing a lot of things about being a brand ambassadors of some product. I mean, you can name anything, like of course Tesla, right? Yeah, or anything, Apple or Google for that matter, or Cisco, right? You name it, or Netflix or Amazon, you name it, anything. You become and then say, oh, by the way, Amazon Prime is good. You know, how about this? So you are associating and you are trying to talk about, and pretty much today's company, most of them they rely on the repeat customer first place, and then the referral business. That's very important. So the referral business is where it is like you don't spend that much of money in marketing, as some companies do not do that. So you rely on your customers to do that. So you've got a right. I mean, and also the you bring up a very good point, Prabhu. The ethical value that you brought in, because for the customer to do something for you as a company, you have to do something first,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Create a quality product.
Yes. So, did you realize, Sri, in the last 15, 20 years, you yourself have created a social currency with couple of different things what you have done? You must have never thought whatever you have been doing other than your work in terms of your radio shows or your like your audio books about Ponniyin Selvan and a lot of other books. You have created content which is a compelling reason for various people to share and also say, "Hey, I read this, heard about this very historic novel which we used to read when we were teenagers, and I feel very good. I'm able to relive that past, and there's a lot of you talked about big brands, but in your own life, in your own sphere of influence, you have created a lot of content, and in the form of radio shows at
Yeah.
Stanford, and now in this type of webinars which you are
Yes.
conducting, which
Yes.
people feel proud in sharing. Hey, I am part of Shree's network. He is creating a lot of good work and good content which I want to be associated with. So I wanted to acknowledge that whatever good work you are doing, and this is the social currency which you have created, and this is a live example of where it is a compelling reason what people want to share with other people. So especially your Rambuli Mama stories for young kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
some of the good examples in your own creation. I just
Yeah.
wanted to bring to the floor those
Yeah.
areas.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you
thank
very much for the compliments. So you're right. I mean, it was just accidental. I mean, it was not intentional. The question is, the only thing I focus is on quality, that something
you.
has to be done. And of course, the
Mhm,
social media, as they call in social currency, is it just magnifies that, because there are a lot of
yeah.
opportunities for people in a public
Mhm,
forum, in blogs, in email, and also in other Facebook or Twitter or whatnot. Of course, YouTube is plays a greater part in this to help magnify that, and gives an opportunity to create an interaction. It's like sports, right? You follow Steph Curry, and then I'm a fan of his, and then you feel that I'm part of a community. I love this being a community, right? Right? Or a soccer fan, or of American football fan, or cricket, right? Sachin Tendulkar. I mean, I love his plays, right? Or Sunil Gavaskar, or Krish Shrikant, right? So you become a part of a tribe, as they say, right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
in fact, I wanted to call out this. I wanted to credit Vivaldi Partners, which I read uh, in Wikipedia. Vivaldi Partners, they did the research. So I just wanted to read it out verbatim
Mhm,
here. So I have to credit them. Social currency measures the ability of brands to fit into how consumers manage their social lives in today's digital and mobile age. So how consumers manage their social lives, I mean, they do a simple, by not realizing what they're doing, they're just doing, hey, I like something because of the quality, so I'm just sharing with you. And so the key part of this is, I'm not going to recommend something because it's just out there, because I have a easy WhatsApp forward button, and then say simply forward. I don't even care. I just get it. My duty is to forward 100 things to you, all of you. Now it's like your name is on the line, your head is on the chopping block. So meaning, like, if something is not of a good quality, people will come back after you and say, you referred me to this doctor, you referred to me to this particular movie, for that matter. You recommended a movie, you recommended a product to be purchased, or a service. Yeah. So I like this. So basically, they spend the social currency, and as I heard, they put their reputation online, right?
yeah,
And so it has to be interesting, it cannot be misleading, and you are part of the friends network. So that's a thing, right? So you are so that's what comes to my mind. Please share your thoughts as well.
yeah. If you go back and dig a little deep on where this all this originate, basically, there was a French author called Pierre Bourdieu who wrote something called a social capital theory. Why do people do that? And what makes them a compelling reason for them to do this is because they would like to basically associate themselves, as you said, with a certain tribe. And first, it gives them the entry or acknowledgement to get into that tribe. Once they go into or identify themselves with that tribe, then they want to share meaningful content and share it with their and they will try to identify themselves with the people who have the spheres of influence around them. And
Mm.
once they identify and they share content, then they create that small network around them. They have a whole community of people who they associate with. Then, oh, if Prabhu is doing this thing, it must be related to this one. So it must be related to recruiting, or it must be related. He is related to ERP, or he is
Mm.
related to digital. If it is Sri, then I think he is related to project management, program management, or what are the best practices. So he talks about a lot of like process documentation. So they start attaching a value to that. Like a
Correct.
social currency, if you look at it, it cannot be seen. It cannot be. It is not something which you trade on, but it is the feeling, and it is the value you create around that. And it's how the companies have to engage these kind of people who are influencers or who are spheres of influence to market their product, and also communicate that to reach a wider audience.
Right.
So that is my thought on that,
Yeah,
Sri.
yeah. In fact, for this program, I just did some little searching. So I found out in one of the sites, I think Market Business News, not I think Market Business News. So they
Mhm.
were referring to one Mr. John Berger, a British art critic. He's a poet and he's a painter and novelist. So he was awarded the Booker Prize in 1972, and then they quoted this article. I found it there, and they quoted in his uh, uh, a quote from him. So to get people talking, companies and organizations need to mint social currency, right? Give people a way to make themselves look good while promoting their products and ideas along the way. So people have to feel good. Okay, and then he goes on to say, I believe, that there are three ways to do that. One is the inner remarkability, leverage game mechanics, and make people feel like insiders. So what caught my attention was make people feel like insiders. It's like maybe a Starbucks, promotion, right? Or a promotion from some company, and then say, hey, by the way, if you do this on a limited edition
It
stuff
is
for a short period of time, and then people who like that product, they say it's super cool. I want more people to benefit from this, so I just hit forward. You see what I'm saying? So you feel like, I know, being a something like I'm a inner circle. I know I wanted to share. So see, that's where you will not do that, Prabhu. You and me will not do that if you don't like their product in first place, right? So that means
correct.
the company has done some kind of a quality work. That's retention. Today, the cost of acquisition of a customer, it's so much. So companies, they work super hard to retain the customer and get the maximum value of cross sell, upsell, and everything from the customer at the or sometimes it happens on its own because I like something and I just wanted to go to the next level of service. You go to like AT&T or Comcast and you like their one product, and then you say, why not I just buy the television? Why not I buy the phone? I just have only internet, right? And then I go to other things, right? Security, right? Look at see how the product expands, right? So that's very interesting. And so the referral business is something people have to take it seriously. And of course, I mean, to me, you asked me to, Tesla is a great example, Prabhu, because the people love Tesla, and then they themselves refer and say super cool about and talk about it. And I've seen lots of YouTube videos. People talk about, hey, here's something cool that you can do all this, the extended range battery and the quality, and especially in the COVID situation, you got a great filter which can protect you. I mean, all these things. I mean, these are all the people who just talk about it without any prompting. So that's important. So the quality of any product, for that matter, right? The easiness. See, one thing we learned from the great professors in Harvard Business School is they say, as part of the digital transformation for companies, what's the value that you create to the customer? How do you make it easier for the customer to do? Professor Karim, thank you so much for knowing this, and right, and Professor Marco, I got to thank you both. I mean, for bringing us into this. And then they go when goes on. Okay, I did all of this. So what? Then you capture the value on the based on the quality that you created, made it easier for a customer. So it all goes a long way, especially in this time and period.
So I want to go back to your Starbucks example, Shri, and it's a very interesting case which is happening in our common day-to-day environment. Like they have concept of awarding you a certain number of stars if you make X dollar value of purchase,
Or
and
like
they
rewards. Okay, reward
rewards,
points.
basically reward points, very similar to what they each company calls it as a different thing. So since they have star in their name, I
Right,
think they
right.
give award you stars. So
Yeah.
then they graduate you to a higher level more the more you purchase. So then you are they make you feel good. They make you part of an elite club, or they get you access to some special recipes, or
Hmm.
some new product introductions, and very exclusive events and invitations to certain very fun events and all those things. So what happens is, being a loyal customer, in turn, they are trying to build their value, so that unknowingly you start sharing, hey, I'm a part of this elite club of Starbucks, or I'm part of and this very common, another example is very common in the airline industry. All of us travel internationally, and a lot of us travel various classes and all those things. The more you travel with a certain airline, then there are various different
Levels.
like different categories, and you graduate by gathering so many things, and then people want to brag about it. Once they travel business class, or they enjoy the lounge facilities and all that, they take a picture of that and share it on Facebook and Twitter and other places. Hey, this is what I enjoyed, or these are the facilities. So that is indirect, like you have experienced the value of that, you want her. And when you are sharing, are you worried about what the company will benefit? No, you're not worried about what the company will benefit, but you are worried about yourself. You are sharing it for your own currency. You have gathered that currency, and you're sharing that kind of an experience. So
Yeah.
companies have to create such value, so that content will be created, and the stories will be created, and the customers will start sharing their experience to their general public, or their spheres of influence. So
Yeah.
when we talk about who are the customers here, who is the community? So there are there is a customer and consumer. Like, what
Hmm.
is the difference between a customer and consumer here? Like, I'm buying certain things for my family, I'm a customer, but there are three or four people in my family. They are the consumers of those items in my family. So
Mm.
then there is a supplier to this. Then there is a whole partner ecosystem. There is a the supply chain network which
Correct.
delivers of this product to this. So
Yes.
all of these things contribute a lot of value to your currency, on time delivery of something which you ordered online. Like that creates a lot of satisfaction for you, because there is an excitement. You ordered a new thing for your son's birthday or your daughter's birthday. There is a lot of excitement that that particular item is coming and getting delivered. And then, hey, I got it delivered right on time, and right on time for the birthday or your wedding anniversary, and you want to share about it. So you capture that moment, and then you take a picture of that and share it and brag about it. So
Yeah.
it's a make feel good moment. And so you create the content for the community. So we covered who is the community and why they create, and whether they are creating for the company or the brand, or they are creating it for themselves to feel good, so that you are known, or you are associated with good things which you are known for.
Yeah.
Those are my points.
Yeah, I think it's good because when you mentioned about the rewards points, etc., what I could, or the airline miles, I could go back to the gaming stuff. All the internet gaming stuff, right? So they create multiple levels. You gain points. So they really got the kids and teens and adults engaged into these playing these games. To then they get points. They can even use their money, real currency, to buy the points. They brag about it, as you said, the social currency, and you're part of the tribe. Hey, I got this, and you want to join my tribe? Or you can say you are not doing it for yourself, possibly in some cases, but you wanted to be a part of somebody's group also. See that there are two ways of looking at it, right? Or multiple ways of looking at it. And then so that's the gaming is one good example that comes to mind in this scenario. And again, you brought up a good point, Prabhu, when you said the content. You are not creating content for yourself. You create, like I said, that you said about our audiobooks, story reading. You create content for others. So the value of that audiobook creation is for people who are visually challenged. They can hear this, and I get lots of feedback, and I feel that very good about, because somebody writes to me and using the technology and then say it's so useful. I feel good that the content has been created, and that means that community. So you are in that good karma community, you can say, for that matter. But it is value. So the value that was created for that customer will spread word, because they definitely listening to this audio, and they say it's nice, and then they will just pass it on. So anyway, so ultimately what matters most is the quality in which the things are done, so that you build relationships, right? And again, it is not something where, as they say, right, something you can touch and feel. This is something you need to experience. So, as they say, you're part of something that is bigger, better, popular. I like something, I understand the value, I want you to recognize that. You see what I'm saying? So I am not what you think I am. I like, because that shows me. It's like in marketing. I did marketing in my MBA back in Liba, back in Chennai. So advanced marketing was my specialization. So one of the things they talk about is the snob appeal. You know what I mean? So basically, people they
That's what Tesla gives you.
huh?
That's what Tesla gives you.
Yeah,
Whenever people buy a Tesla, that's why, or they want to flash it and say, "Hey, I
yes,
bought a Tesla car."
yes, yes.
It's not a it's utility value, but more than that, it's the snob
it's a,
value.
it's a pride. It's a pride
It's
of
a pride.
being in
Yeah.
a, you are in a elite group of customers. And also you recognize the value, and you recognize the quality, as we talked about, right? So that's what they taught us about, what the companies can particularly do. See, one thing I wanted to really touch, because in product marketing, one of the things that they mention is here. I just wrote it to share it with the team. See,
Mm-hmm.
when you create a lead, you do marketing campaigns and other things. We even talked about in the product, the personal branding, right? But of course, we said product branding is something we keep it for a separate topic. Maybe we can touch
Separate
a little
topic.
bit on
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
See, you create an awareness of a product, then you acquire a lead, then that's acquisition, right? And then once when you acquire, then the question is, it's not good enough. Like you create an app, and then you let people know about this app, so everybody clicks on it. But then you provide some sample, right? For example, right, which is like they call freemium. The
yeah.
freemium is
Premium.
free,
Yeah, yeah.
so you don't need to pay anything. Just experience it. You like it, you wanted to unlock some features. What do you need to do? Buy $2,
Install.
just $2, 2.99. It's cheaper, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And the conversion rate from the acquisition to the next level, right, which we become an activation, and then the activation. Okay, I become a customer now, so I get a recurring revenue and things like that. So what next? Cross sell, upsell, and other things. Okay, and then what? You subscribe. See, the subscription model, again, the company wants to build on you like a Netflix. You don't want to be a Netflix customer for 1 month, or you don't want to have a subscriber Amazon Prime for 1 month and then just let it go. No, they will give you, hey, if you are a Prime customer, you get the music for free for 30 days, 90 days. You can watch the Prime videos for free. See how the companies get you wood into use this. So the retention is super important, which generates the revenue. And then what? Okay, I got my revenue. Then what? You tell more people. You build the network. You strengthen the
You want to
network.
share.
So that's the reference. So the awareness, the acquisition, the activation, retention, revenue, and referral is such a. I mean, we all know this. We all know lead. A lead gets to order, then order gets to. We all know this. But that's kind of a traditional way how the sales funnel works. But the question here is, you encourage the potentials to become your customer, and then you get them into buy something from you, and after they become a customer, you want them to be the brand ambassador for you. That is what the quality, like, today we can say Apple, everybody goes for it, and then say, and by the way, when they launch the product, everybody goes behind it. Oh my god, I have a phone, but still I want to go to the 5th gen, right? Or a Samsung for that matter. I mean, they created a big followers on that front, isn't it? So your brand speaks for itself, and the quality speaks, and the customer service, again, we also talked in a couple of other shows, the customer service speaks for itself, where the brand ambassador. So anyway, back to the social currency. Yeah, it's pretty interesting that nobody refers something when they don't like the quality. So we are getting into the second section of the product, is what should the company do?
Yeah. So one of the aspects when you mentioned create that fan following and share content, one of the techniques the companies do is they create what is called as the leaderboard. So what is a leaderboard is like a, hey, this set of people from this area they have downloaded, like India has so many downloads, or Russia has got so many downloads of this app, or UK has got more downloads, or like go into more specifics, very different states. So they are throwing you a lot of information, which is giving you like a ego boost. It could like go down to very specific named persons in a company, so that there is a drive within you. Hey, I want to be named as the topmost person
Right.
who has shared this content. Like I can, if I'm a brand owner, I can say Sri shared my content
Right.
1,000 times. Prabhu shared it 450 times. So next time I am trying to virtually compete with you to get to that level. I will start thinking what is a compelling reason why Sri is doing this, and what all I start observing, what all things you do to get to that level. So indirectly, the company is growing their brand, and they have created such compelling content which is emotionally the people or the followers or the community, exclusive community, they are attached to it, and they use the companies use this leaderboard techniques to make it more successful, to share this information to the larger audience.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, what you mentioned about is the virality. You create
yeah,
the virality of that, so that like I have seen even Yahoo, when they come up with a small video, oh, it goes viral, then everybody goes and checks it. What did I miss? So they're just trying to create some interest in you, and then say, I'm not part of them or what, right? I wanted to be associated with them, and I wanted to be able to talk to my people. See, one of the sports events, of course, they create NBA games for that matter, right? Right, all of these, and then you associate yourself, and then you pick up a conversation, and you become knowledgeable, and you like something, and you follow a fan club, right? And of course, you follow the leaderboard there also, like who scored the maximum, right? For example, right? Or cricket, or famous Indian cricket, so like you follow the World Cup scores and whatnot. So you're absolutely right. The leaderboard is basically, it also works in the companies for accomplishing sales target, for that matter. That's one thing. And also, it also helps in the referral businesses, where you as a customer referred so many people. And the key thing, Prabhu, as we mentioned, is the rewards.
yes,
So
yeah,
I do this because I'm a loyal customer. I like you the quality. I enjoyed. I'm part of the elite group. I think that's what I am. And I want you to be part of that group. Or I want you to know me about my taste, my interests, and things like that. Right. And join me, or me, I will join your team, like the tribe, right? Ultimately. So that's where it's like as we talked in the Subhashita in Sanskrit also, right? The knowledge is something where it grows and leaps and bounds as you learn more, and you talk about it, and then you give it. So right. So it's the same thing. As you interact with the people, you gain more knowledge, and you learn more, or you correct yourself through blogs, forums, and networks, and things like that. But ultimately, the company aspects is, how do you reward your customers? How do you reward? And so that it is another equal challenge. See, again, something interesting, the merchandise is another thing which plays a lot of people. Sport, of course, you can see as an example,
the
but
something similar to your cap,
yeah.
you mean?
Yeah. No, anything. The t-shirt people wear, like, and of course you see the Lacoste, right? As they say,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
crocodile. Just they don't say many things. I'm so fond of that t-shirt, right? Right, or the polo shirts, or anything for that matter. Huh? And so people associate to the band, and simple things like the matters in this case, right? So they companies now started about the merchandising also as another venue to get people to show their loyalty, wear the sportswear, right? Nike shoes, right? For example, I become the great sports person now, even though I'm not a basketball fan, for example, but I become one now because I started attending games. I learned and things like that. I can pick up conversation, I can watch games, and I sport the same thing, like my you know my I'm a fan of the leader, right? For example, let's say Steph Curry in this case, right?
So when you talk about Nike and or any other brands, Sri, what comes to my mind is some of the brands also create kind of a exclusivity engagement with the customers they deal with. Some of the recent phenomenon which I have observed as like some of the clothing brands like Stitch Fix or I think I'm sure a lot of other brands might be out there in the market where they try to understand your personality, and they try to create an exclusive like what do you say, the your portfolio of dresses and shoes and ties and belt and your wardrobe which is exclusive to you, and which is not available more commonly outside, and which is more tailor made, they based on your specification, your
Right.
personality and all that, and then you get to use it. And if you don't like, they send you a few choices of items, and then if you select, you pay for whatever you selected and used it. Rest of the other items you just return it. So that is becoming very popular. So this is similar to the some of the phenomenon which has happened in the past, like for so many 100 years, like at least 100 years back, where they used to create very high-end exclusive cars. Some of the companies like Rolls-Royce,
Yeah.
any of those brands would create only collector's edition, like 10
Yes.
or
Yes.
15
Yes.
or maximum, yeah, 100 pieces or even 20 pieces, or sometimes it's 5 pieces. So the less the number of items or products they create, then it becomes more exclusive,
Yeah.
and it's expensive also. So that is again, people buy it for the social currency which they can create.
Yeah.
And they announce it to their it becomes a news item in the media. It becomes a news item in the TV and whatnot. So these are examples of how you want to give that exclusivity feeling to the customer when you create or offer a service, and so that they long to own it or become a part of it. This is very similar to membership. Like when I grew up as a kid in Coimbatore, where I come from, my friends used to say, "Oh, there is this club called Gymkhana Club, or this other things where the membership wait time is 10 years. You have to, they don't open up the membership that easily. You have to go on like a wait list, and only if somebody like expires or somebody then that position becomes vacant. So there then you have an exclusive set of perks associated with it, and then people brag about it. These are some of our common life examples which we have unknowingly observed, which now I can relate to what this social currency is all about, and we have used it in the past. So
Yeah.
those are other ways I think the brands or the corporations need to engage with the customers
Yeah.
to give that feeling.
Definitely, definitely. Your affiliation matters, and again, you need to, as they say, right, that the dimensions, as they call out, right, in the study, is the affiliation, which is the basically the you are associated as part of the community, the conversation, basically the engaging in the conversation around the brand. Right, you own the brand, you talk about the brand, be a brand ambassador, and then you're part of the network. Utility is the usefulness and value to the customer, which is from a company standpoint, and also it has to be relevant socially, as I say. And then the advocacy is a loyalty, strong loyalty to the brand, and then so you can always say, hey, I know what is this, right, exactly. And information is I know all about this product, so that's more like because I like it, so I researched it, and then it becomes your own personal identity also. So that's those are the various dimensions, whatever they say. And of course, I think I would strongly encourage folks to check the in Wikipedia also is there the link to Vivaldi Partners Social Currency is the topic, and they can check the link, and it's a very good material to read. They've done lots of research about that. Okay. Anyway, talking about sports, of course, like it's also the jersey of like Kobe Bryant, or for example, or Dhoni, right, or Tendulkar, and in cricket. So it becomes so popular and famous, or their affiliation to the superstar, right? And so there are a lot of things there. So emotional attachment to people. They are the leaders, they are the role model. See, that's super important, right? So that's also because of the what they have served the game, I mean, and the tremendous skills that they have shared. So you feel like you are part of them, and right, and learn from their experience. So that's very good. Thank you, dear listeners. We are talking about social currency, which is basically, as you know, we all are loyal to a particular brand. We recognize the value created by the companies, and also we do not hesitate to talk about it as part of in our social interaction stuff. So this Prabhu, I mean, when he brought this topic again, so we wanted to share these few insights with you about the behavior on, the conversation, information, the advocacy, identity, affiliation, and utility about this product. So very, very interesting concept. Good, Prabhu. What else we can cover in this?
Yeah, at this point, I would like to share two other stories where I quite often, like in my school network, people talk about, hey, I want to buy these garments or these saris or these things directly from where the artisans or the weavers are located, and I want to support them. Basically, I go there. I make it a point when I go on a tour. I visit those places or the shops where people display this artisan kind of material, and there is no middleman, and there is a cooperative society or that kind of an environment where people come and sell. And I buy that because I want to give back to the people who toil. A lot of times when we buy items, we don't know who is the producer or who is the manufacturer of
Right.
those items. What
It
what
changes
is the
multiple
process that
hands.
goes,
Yes.
yeah, what is the process that goes behind that,
Yeah.
and that made me do a little more research, and on another brand which I came across is a brand called Ethicus. It is a brand from a place called Polachi, which is about 35 to 40 miles from Coimbatore, which is a southern India town, where they manufacture saris, which our traditional like our saris, our ladies wear. It is a cotton sari, but they are little expensive because they position themselves as a organically grown. It's made out of organically grown cotton,
Hmm.
and as the name shows, it's called like ethics and us. That is how
Okay.
it becomes ethicus. And there is a story behind why this husband and wife duo, why they got into this venture, and why they've grown it as a brand even from a remotest place like Polachi. And it is now very famous all over India, and they have outlets, and they're trying to sell even online,
Hmm.
um, because they wanted to really bring to light the farmers who were associated with that, especially when there was a lot of farmer suicides happening, and the farmers were not getting the right price for whatever products they were manufacturing or growing, and they create something called as like an integrated like a what they call as integrated cotton farming, cotton contract cotton farming methodology, which a lot of people, a lot of other people have not tried, and they created a whole ecosystem where the seed producer, the farmer, ginner, spinner, spinning mill, government, and the consumer, like the end customer, they all part of like the same ecosystem. There is a lot of responsibility people share, and they very transparent in whatever the information they share. And for each sari, if you open up the sari, in each sari there is a label or a small card which has a photograph of the farmer
Oh,
and
that's
also the
nice.
weaver of that sari, and also how much time did it take to from the start to finish of producing that sari, and a small write-up.
Okay.
So like it is a moment when when you get a sari like that, and you have that label, that is a I felt was a very good interesting social currency type of situation, and
Sure.
which I want to share it to people. Hey, I am associated with this brand.
Okay. Yeah.
I read a lot of reviews about that brand. Some people
Right.
express it
Yeah.
might be pricey and
Okay.
all that, but
Yeah.
they like argue or position saying that we cater to like 20 to 40-year type of
So,
age group,
yeah.
but we want to associate with that tribe of people who relate to this. Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry,
no, no.
go ahead.
No. What I was going to say is, you are talking right now as a consumer in this case.
Yes,
And see, you
yeah,
like something, so you are just trying to let others know about it. You're creating, you're playing the brand ambassador role, right? So,
yeah,
similar story, like you said, like of course, it's in my own family where my brother in India, he recently, with all the situations in travel industry and everything, somehow we started with the organical way of producing goods, especially the vegetables farming. Mitro Farms. He just started something. Of course, he named it recently. But the thing that he was talking about, not using any pesticides, or everything is organically grown, and so that there's no chemicals or anything in the usage, and sure, use the technology to its full potential with the great engineers or great farmers, and some of these nuances and techniques which it was there buried in their minds. Now people don't even know about them. So everybody wants more, right? And can you, small land, more produce, small land, more produce, put every fertilizer, and then you just you wanted some kind of a growth miracle, right? So instead, you just need the quality potential from the land and get this. So you're right. So for such kind of work, you need some ambassadors who, I mean, people should not misinterpret as, oh, these guys are marketing for somebody. No, it's more like you like something, you wanted to associate with it, and suddenly the human thing in you tells you, I want more people to benefit from this. That's it. I mean, that's all it is. So that's what comes to my mind at the end of the day. And again, a lot of people who are interested, there are a lot of people to bring such things into the global world, and to showcase them. So we got to hats off to those people for doing such a great job. Of course, it's business at the end of the day, so it's their business, and their business need to thrive. But at the same time, it can thrive in any manner you can do. But you have a sense, a feeling that you helped someone at the end of the day, and also you brought quality. See, again, we are underlying, quote unquote, the quality part. The product should speak for yourself, right, and
yes.
not the other way. So automatically the referral thing happens, the retention happens, that grows. So that's the thing where it's not just a book, a theory. It is a very tested, tried and tested theory. We are almost
Yeah,
getting.
I would like to make one point with respect to Mitro Farms. I also understand Sridhar that from Sridhar that he uses a lot of solar devices, solar panels to attract, and there is a mechanism by which the pests and other insects are
Deterrence,
gathered,
captured
and
or gathered.
they are not so that there is no like a chemical which is kind of killing them. They get attracted to a certain thing, and some of
Right.
the very invading type of insects he like tries to avoid them. And also I think he uses one of the contract farming methods wherein he was talking about using some farms in Kodaikanal, where he is able to plant some of the very interesting vegetables which cannot be
Yes.
grown in outskirts of Chennai, but which can be grown in like a hill station, and those are like under his own brand. They like grown in a certain other person's farm, but branded and packaged by him
Sure.
and sold to all his customers. So he's not only having one variety, he is having multiple varieties
Yeah.
of
So
all
what
these.
we should do, maybe these things, I mean, not like a product placement, but we'll just say about some of the techniques that's being used. Maybe we could create an awareness on these things, because
Yeah,
when you talk about organic, I'm for those kind of organically grown stuff. Even in my garden, for that matter, if I need to talk about something, I can say proudly that I'm an organic grower of vegetables myself in a small garden that I have. Anyway, ultimately, right, we are almost coming to the end of the show, Prabhu. So one thing is, it's not good enough that you got a customer, but you should have done a lot of, you need to nurture them at the end of the day, and help to develop the brand equity at the end of the day. Okay, that's very, so there's some of them are like they always say organical growth, right? It has to grow very organically. And as my professors in HBAP, they always say, it's like the network, strengthen the network. You get more people to buy your product. If the quality is good, you get more players and more varieties come in, vendors, more suppliers. So it is the ecosystem of the suppliers, the vendors, the customers, the operating model at the end of the day. So it all come towards the, not just in the digital experience, which is today everybody is going after digital transformation. It's also whatever traditional that you have been doing. When you are in the process of transitioning towards the digital, you need to think in those terms on how it's going to be different. We'll have a separate topic on, of course, how you can leverage the data analytics, the business analytics part of it, to see what can I learn from my customer, what worked, what did not work, what's happening, what's the customer feedback in the industry, do they like our product, can they be a brand ambassador or not. Okay, what would make them to be a brand ambassador, what is wrong in my quality, how can I fix that quality, am I not listening to them? See, that's the thing, reach out to your customers at all time and get to know what is work, and show them you care. That will get your social currency, your bank balance will increase. See, that I read in, I think, I don't know where I read, it says that, see, you need to put some money in somebody's bank, that money grows interest, that interest you use to leverage. So that's a kind of a social currency. So it's very interesting topic. I really enjoyed, Prabhu. Thanks for bringing it up,
yeah,
because it was very educative for me. And again, through this forum, again, we are trying to chat and share that we care and show our learnings. And so it has been very insightful, Prabhu, for bringing this.
yeah. So to end our, as we said, we have come to the last fag end of the our 1 hour
End of
conversation.
the
So
show.
I wanted to share one more anecdote from the Ethicus story, which I wanted to. They have created a one more thing called as the Cotton Trail, which where they are making you go on a trip, like a sightseeing trip, where you are allowed to go physically to those places where the cotton is grown. Then there is a lot of sightseeing, wildlife trip, and all those things in and around Bangalore, and like touching 3 4 states. And then you come to the showroom. They have a lot of demos and other um, like talks in between where they talk about the process. So this goes back to my initial first statement in this conversation, where I was trying to debate with my daughter. How do you know when the company is saying that I'm being ethical in whatever
Right,
practices?
exactly. That's
How
very
do you
well.
go and find out? This is a good example I figured out, where I know exactly what the company is doing, what they are trying to do, and this is a case study which I wanted to share. And
Sure.
thanks for giving the opportunity, Shri. And once again, it's a great pleasure to be part of your team and meet all our listeners every week. Thank
No,
you.
no, it's good. Thank you, Prabhu. I mean, it's equally. I share the pleasure, and we are a team because that reminds me in when we went to Hawaii last year, we saw that a cacao tree or a cocoa palm, right? So they just take you on a tour. They show how things are being done, and then it was very interesting. And yeah, thank you very much for listeners for joining our conversation. And also that reminds me, even some of these even here in donuts, right, donut making, of course you can see they take you, they put the transparent windows, and then you can see how the donuts is made. The kids like them. And even the ice cream making, they do it here, right?
Yeah.
The Dunkin' Donuts or anything for the, of course, the ice cream shops. And then they get people to the excitement, right? Kids like it. I mean, curiosity is one part, but also they love how they make stuff, etc. So thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you, dear listeners, for joining. And of course, by this archive of this is also available at the end of the show. And if you think that any of your friends have missed this, please do share it with them so that you can always get them to see. And of course, I've punched in the podcast URL, so you can also subscribe to our podcast here. We all our past shows with the great session with Prabhu on etiquette and remote networking and career, right, with Jennifer Bangura, right, and Katie, of course. And then we have with Professor Vish Krishnan. And also there's more coming, of course, with um, Yale, Professor Yale. And we are going to have other Harvard professors joining on digital transformation and artificial intelligence that's coming up. And there's some
We
career.
missed out on project management.
Oh yeah, yeah, of course. Project management. Yes, I'm also getting speaking assignments on to share my learnings on project management. So I would be happy to talk about project program management and how to do that as a best practice. I mean, the goal is to engage the audience and share the learnings, and of course, we learn from each other. So this all very simple, and make it interesting. At the end of the day, that's again a social currency here. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
And,
we can guarantee the listeners that that they will gain more social currency by sharing all this useful content.
yes, yes. It's Tiff at gmail.com is our connective. So if you have any speakers or if you yourself are a speaker, please do not hesitate to get in touch with us. It's Tiff at gmail.com. And thank you so much, Prabhu, for your time, and the listeners for your time as well. Thank you. Bye.